Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for August 8th, Saturday, 2020, 3 p.m. Eastern. Just give everybody a heads up. We're having the Sheldon Neidl and the PAO. I'm doing a webinar there on August 23rd. So if those of you, I think you get their letters, will know that. And it'll tell you what I'm going to be discussing in that. It helps them, helps Sheldon. His recovery is doing real good, and we're seeing to it that he gets, before he goes into the CC, that he is as aware as he was before the attacks were played on him. So, but that's just a heads up for everybody. This is a time where we are going to be, I'm going to be sharing some really heavy, and I don't mean negative, but very eye-opening information in the course of the next few weeks. So, like always, you can embrace it or you can leave it. It's not meant to be mandatory to, look at it, but it's something that is information that has not been given to the civilization. It's time it should be given, and so it will be given. Everything is always about within. Everything. It's always about within. For some of us, it's difficult and very challenging to stay that course. Doesn't mean that you're not connected with your God. It just means that we are so trained and it's so ingrained in us to go by the way of the herd mentality. It's not like and a lot of us are not in that frequency. We're in 5D. And it's still a challenge for us to stay in the understanding that it is all within us. It is all about us. It's about you. And then some people I've talked with say, I feel uncomfortable about that because it seems like that's being greedy or selfish and not wanting to help others. No, it's actually the opposite. As I've said before, the true understanding within us is that we choose to be clear of who and what we are. It is a process. When I talk with people and they say, this is going to take me a while, it'll take you as long as you need it to take you. That's it. You're not in a race. It's not about getting an award. Basically, it's about you discovering you, loving you, being gentle and kind and generous and humble with yourself at all times. At all times. Not once in a while. And forgiving. Always forgiving. So that you can eventually eliminate or remove yourself from the matrix, the structure that we've all been forced into, unknowingly, but we've been forced into it. Not sure if we So if you will, understand this is not as a burden or something hanging on you that you feel uneasy about, that, oh, I've got to get going with this, and I've got to get serious and going with this, and it should be for you a very enjoyable understanding, a welcoming, loving motivation, inspiration for you to go within and learn about you. And that way, when the time comes, we will know all this transition and everything. We'll be really, really well informed and prepared for the major transition. You go into 5D, eventually you will not experience any 3D anymore. This is why the transition seems seamless. So it's subtle. It's not a jolting, jaggy type thing that's accelerated into a blink of the eye, and it's very difficult for the transition. Those who are not awake will not transition until they are ready, until they have discovered who and what they are. That's all there is to it. So people think that, well, then I'm going to be leaving everybody behind. You really won't be. You won't be. It's just that where you're at, okay, where your feelings and the God within you and the vibrational frequency that you have attained, you will not interact as the way you have been interacting with this world. We are leaving this world. Don't think that you're not, because the ego mind will do everything it can to convince you otherwise. This is silly. Nothing's happening. You're here, and you're always going to be here. And it will continually do it. And as long as you're aware of that, with deep eternal love and gratitude, and not combativeness toward the ego mind, then it will eventually realize that it is no longer needed. It's no longer needed. And eventually it'll be gone. And, it'll be a big hug and a kiss, and it just start to dissipate away, less and less and less. So, can you interact with someone in 3D? Absolutely. You're just not going to be in 3D. The way you feel, the way you think, how you move, everything's different. And I'll tell you, once you get fully seated in fifth dimensional frequency, your memories of things won't exist, because you won't need them to exist. They occupy a different space. You will not need them in 5D. This is why this is so subtle as the transition continues. It will not be. A lot of people are confused about this, and they shouldn't be. Because if they go within and they begin to understand the God that they are, or the pure consciousness, however you vibrate with whatever name you choose to describe what is within you, then you'll know that I am in 5D, and a lot of the things that used to cause you to embrace thoughts of fear and create them into reality will be gone. You won't have that, and you'll have a bridgeway temporarily that will allow you to adjust to that. It won't be a helter-skelter, shaken about, stressful, alarming type of frequency. It'll be very soft and gentle and embracing. And that's how this transition is taking place. You're leaving a conflicted world, is what's happening. You've chosen to leave a conflicted world. You do not have animosity with it. You have no forlornment. You have no indecisiveness. that has all, you have embraced your transition. So you're already in it, and you're transitioning in 5D, which means that when people say, well, why am I still in 3D? You're transitioning out of it. Do you want to be really shaken and ripped away immediately so that you have to be cocooned for a period of time in order to survive the transition? No, there's no reason for that. So things will fade. Remember, you're not in 3D. You're not in the conflicted world anymore. Yes, you walk around with others. You do interact with others, but you're not in it. And I think some of you are having episodes of coming to the realization that you aren't in it anymore. You must take the responsibility. You must identify with it. You don't have to, you choose to, in order for the transition to take full force and direction with you. So if you're experiencing things like taking on too much emotion, finding yourself going into kind of a subtle forlornment in certain situations, this is because you are leaving 3D. And all of us, it's like you've been somewhere a long time, okay? And you've lived there for, maybe a decade or 2 decades. And you're familiar with the area and the people and the neighbors and everything. And it's almost like when you were a kid. If any of you remember when Mom and Dad had to move, you were in a move. You had to move, and you were really upset because you were going to leave all your friends behind. You were going to leave everybody you knew behind. It was comfortable. And you were going to have to leave the house, and that was comfortable. And you liked your bedroom and all those things. But then when you moved to a new place, it didn't take long before you to adjust in that new place or that new world for you. This is not much different, except the fact of the matter is that you're moving into a new world. The new world is not full of conflict. It's not full of dishonesty. It's not full of disrespect for life. It is the opposite, totally the opposite of what we have experienced in this world for so very long. And once you come to that realization, you begin to surrender. See, this has all been connected through all these meditations for the population of this planet. It is all connected, these meditations, the TFCCs, so that you begin to understand, as much as possible who and what you are. Your home is within you. It's your body. That's your home. Your house is not your home. Your home is your body. It will always be your home as long as you're in it. You understand what I'm saying? This understanding is very difficult for many of us to comprehend because we have been so heavily trained in the corporate, corrupted soul system. And we don't know anything else. We've been trained to think that I move into this place, this is my home. It isn't. The home is within you. Always, always has been. Where do you reside? I reside within this body. This is my home. And a lot of people find that very difficult to comprehend and embrace. But once you begin to do that, you then are removing yourself from the last vestiges of control of this old world of 3D. You're transitioning. It is a time for celebration with you, with yourself. And you've chosen to transcend. You've chosen to. You're not here because you have to be. You're here because you desire to be. In this meditation with all your brothers and sisters from all throughout the universes, all together every day. And it's a warm feeling. I've had thousands of letters sent that are telling me how it has transformed them and how they've embraced it and how they are in such gratitude of themselves, the God within them, and how good it feels to be reunited consciously with the God within them, the pure consciousness, and how they are viewing and looking at things totally different to the first time in their lives. This is, like I said, this is a celebration. There's no doom and gloom. The only doom and gloom is the illusion that tries to keep you in that 3D world. And I think more and more of you are becoming more and more aware that this is just an illusion. I'm done here. I've experienced enough here. I decide when my experience is completed in this world. Now I move into a new world where my experience continues. It'll all be new, all different. And that's what you're carrying. That's how you are adjusting slowly, carefully, and softly. Not a helter-skelter situation. So if you experience things like emotional drawdown, which you may be absorbing other emotions from other people, this will happen. It's not a negative. It's not something to be alarmed about. It's something to be aware about. See, if you're consciously aware of something, and you've chosen, I am aware of this. I understand this conversation that you have with yourself and your God. And you say, God, I'm good with this. How are you feeling about it? What do you think? You're talking with the actual life force within you. And you acknowledge it. That opens up a whole new realm of possibilities. And so this is your magic carpet. All right? Picture yourself, the cartoon Aladdin a long time ago, or the book. You're a magic carpet. Okay? You're flying high above the earth, but you see the village, the towns, and everything, and the people, and the lights. It's at night, and you're leaving. Yeah, it's very peaceful, calm, and you don't feel any chill on your body or anything. You're literally moving out of that world, and you are. You're still looking at it. Okay, you can still go down and land and interact with everybody, but you're not of it anymore. You're not of it. It was never your home. The home is within you. Your body is the home. And it'll be the same way in 5D, and 6, and 7, and 8. And my call next Wednesday will take everybody deeply into the understanding of how that is structured. So you'll begin to understand this, and I think a lot of you do already because I feel the vibrational frequency, that this isn't fear. This is exuberation and celebration that you've chosen to take this direction. Because you're the master and commander. No one else is. You are. You house the God, the pure consciousness. You travel. Period. And you're the navigator. And so you know that I'm in 5D. I don't have expectations or attachments about that. And I know that the universe is with me. So it's like whatever I desire will almost be instantaneous. Not like 3D, okay? You're moving in 2 dimensions. You're taking a jump 2 dimensions higher, all right? And why is that? Well, it's because we're kind of behind things. That's not a big deal, but we are. We're kind of behind things for our civilization as far as dimensional existence. So the 5D, which all of you are in, and you're transitioning, a lot of things you're experiencing, and I've heard a lot from a lot of you that, it's really interesting. You have these moments and situations you really haven't had before. There's times that you're conflicted. You may be, let's say, in a relationship, in a marriage. It's not negative, but you have a feeling and deep within you, deep within your core essence, that it isn't the same. And then fear sets in, okay, and anxiety. Why am I feeling this way? I have no reason to feel this way. When you're with someone who isn't in 5D, you're not going to convince them to go in 5D because most of the time they aren't aware of who and what they are. It is not your position to convince them of who and what they are. You're not there to do that. You're there to love them. You're there to care for them, and be gentle and kind to them, but you're not there to convince them of anything. That's their responsibility. That's what they choose to do. And some of us are interacting with those who are not awake. And that isn't a discrepancy either. It's just that's where they're at. It isn't bad. It isn't negative. It's just where they're at. See? And that's why I always say this is about you. And the more you begin to understand you, the more you'll be able to navigate 5D. It's a transition, yes. It is not without challenge because you're leaving something that's familiar, see? And then the fear kicks in. Oh, I'm going to leave all my loved ones behind, and it doesn't work that way. But you see what happens, how the ego starts interplaying with you. And the mind, of course, remember, is flailing around. It has no structure, and it's everywhere. And so you've got the ego and ego mind, and you're sitting here and you're going, wow, I'm having all of these issues, situations, and why is this going on all of a sudden? Why is this happening in the last several months? Why is this going on? And then you turn within, you go, I know why this is going on. I'm transitioning into 5-dimensional frequency. It's a whole different vibrational frequency. And I'm going to be experiencing things. I have no clue what they are, and I really don't care because I know that it'll be wonderful. That's it. I just know it's going to be wonderful. I don't know what it's going to be like fully embraced in 5D. And that's the way it is with every dimensional shift. With many civilizations, with many of our brothers and sisters. See? You remember, okay? Most of you remember when you were in grade school, okay? You had a lot of friends. Remember that? And for the most part. And then it was time for big time. And back then they call it junior high, okay? And you were apprehensive your first day in junior high with the big kids, okay? So they would have 7th, 8th, and 9th in junior high. And you're in 6th grade, grade school. Funny, these labels. And then you, as a kid, we were apprehensive. We're going to meet the big kids. We're going to be with all the big kids. Wow, I'll be a 7th grader, and then we got 8th and 9th graders. You think now I'm going to think of the analogy, and then you make another jump as a 9th grader. Now I'm going to go into high school, okay? And now I'm going to meet the really big people, and I am the little guy as a what? As a 10th grader. So everybody will look at me as a new kid on the block, all the 10th graders. That's what happens. And it's a social structure, but that analogy, if you take some of the stuff away, the ego stuff and everything, is not much different than the transition to different frequencies and dimensions. You're apprehensive, you don't know what to expect, but you want to be able to expect and attach to everything. But it's an unknown. That's why for a while we talked about the bridge over the river of void. That's another visual. You're all being educated in visual, not equations and calculations. You're being educated in visual time, real time, in pictography, where you create a vision, a motion picture within your heart minds, and then you place it strategically. You build that motion picture, which is your existence. Just like you've been doing all these last few years, you build the motion picture within your heart minds, and then you navigate it. Now there's areas that you have no clue about. None of us do. That's the fun part. And the confidence we have through the heart mind is through the universe that's there always. As long as we don't block it, it's always there. Always. It never, ever has failed. Understand that. It never will fail you. See? That's why we're always constantly diverted, distracted, away from ourselves. You ever notice that? Diverted, distracted, away from ourselves. trying to convince us that our home is outside of us, which is a joke because it isn't. You realize how secure you are when you realize that my home is within me. It isn't outside of me. The place I'm standing in right now isn't my home. Yeah, it protects you from the elements and stuff, but it isn't your home. You imagine when you embrace you and understand that with clarity and finitely, consciously, that body is your home. It's a whole different ballgame. It really is. Your whole perspectives change. And you learn this, and you begin to embrace it. Now, obviously, if you walked up to somebody who's asleep, and they go, "Where do you live?" "Right here," and you point to your heart. "This is my home." "What's your home?" "My body, it's my home." Now, they'll look at you like you're, Fruit Loop or a wingnut, and they'll just roll their eyes. We're all used to that. We've had that happen several times. And you just kind of say, "Okay, well, just thought I'd share with you. You asked me the question." And you're not laughing about it. You're just very focused on it. And then that energy, they'll pick up on it, and they'll say, "They were serious about that." Maybe it'll motivate them to think about things. You never know. So, your transition, okay? We are transitioning from 3D to 5D. And you're not leaving anything behind. Believe me, you're not. You know why? You're bringing it all with you because it's within you. You're not leaving that behind. So if you get this rush of fear about 5D, you understand where it's coming from. It's coming from the ego mind that's dictating to your heart mind. It's very confusing for people, but that's what's happening. And when you know that, you know how to adjust it. You say, "Ego mind, you're not in charge here, I am. So if you will, I love you, but please take a seat." And then you adjust this, and you feel like you're on track. You know what I mean? You feel like you're on track. This is good. I feel good about this. How do you feel, God, within me? How do you feel? How do you feel, pure consciousness within me? Higher self. However you identify that which is within you. You ask, how are you doing? I'm doing absolutely spectacular all the time. People get surprised at that. Why are they always so up? Why are they always so up? Why aren't they down? Why aren't they depressed? Why are they always up? And people will do that, and that's fine because you're reminding them of something that they have not explored with themselves yet. You see? There's fear there. So they negate it. They negate who and what they are. Not a bad thing. It's just what they choose to do. So when you are the way you are and you're understanding that you are the home, then it picks up. Remember, we're all connected. So you send these signals. You're not converting. That's in the man-made religious arena. It's more 3D. So this is a wonderful transition, and you haven't seen or experienced anything yet. Anything yet. And I'm talking all good and phenomenal beyond anything that you've ever experienced in any form of happiness and bliss in 3D. So this meditation, transition. So if you will, go to a place where you're not going to be interrupted, and I'm sure that we all are. First thing that we want to do, relax our bodies. How do we relax our bodies? Go of all attachments, all relationships, everything. You're not getting rid of them, you're letting go of them. You understand what that means? Some people think that they're getting rid of them. No. It's the opposite. You're embracing them all, but you're letting go. You're surrendering to all of it. Everything that you covet, you surrender. Everything you're attached to, you surrender. It doesn't mean it goes anywhere. It just means you're not attached to it anymore. It's a whole different experience. It's a whole different way of knowledgeably being aware. So you surrender, the body relaxes. You say, body, let's relax. It's time to relax. We're in meditation now. Relax. See, oftentimes people go in meditation, but they forget about the body because they're in the mind. Now they think they're in the heart mind, but they're really in the mind. Okay? And this gets very confusing. That's why sometimes it's very difficult for them to relax the body. They're afraid. What if I fall asleep? That's a good thing, because you've been able to relax your body to the extent where you just fall asleep. There's not one negative about it. You're pretty much in a dream state through the meditation. So you're in deep participation of the meditation. Everybody thinks a meditation is supposed to be a certain way. It isn't. It is how you experience it with you. So you relax the body from head to toe, inside and out. You know, we're all sponges and magnets. We're not exempt from any of the stuff that's thrown around out there. And so sometimes we attract it. We might have a thought that passes that we inadvertently embrace. And of course it moves energy into form and it creates it in reality. It's not like we're always aware that we're doing that, so guess what? We get some surprises. So the body relaxes. We release all the attachments that we've picked up, and even in the last 24 hours. And we surrender all relationships, all situations, all material things, everything. You just let it go. And it's a whole different feeling. That's when you feel light. That's when you feel unburdened. Okay? Because you still enjoy everything, but you don't attach to it. And you don't have expectations with it. So as we relax the body responds and relaxes. And we move into the now. And the now is all we have. And people are always saying, what in the heck is the now? The now is when you focus on the moment. Whatever it is you may be doing moment to moment. It is the space between heartbeats. That's the now. Because it's so fleeting. It's quick. And then it's into the next now, the next now. It's a moment, 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 moment. Many segments of experiencing this existence. Okay? Many segments. And so you focus on it while you're doing it. You focus on it. Then you move to something else. You focus on it. It's not easy at first. It is a challenge. And then you start to understand, okay, I'm in my heart mind, I'm focused on the moment. So I'll look at the moment and I'll experience the moment. That's it. That's all there is to it. Experience the moment, moment to moment. Now, some of us, all of us, at times, through kind of a primer, a spark, looking at something, reviewing something, or a thought comes in from the past, which is seductive because it usually is a good experience most of the time. Sometimes it's not. But we go in and then we embrace it. We just kind of hang there with it, you know, and we just say, oh, I wish I could have that again. It was so wonderful. Which is dangerous because we already did it. And there's so much more ahead of us as long as we point ourselves in the direction into the unknown. So if we take that, and some of us will, because it is very, very seductive. And so we take it and we bring it into a future that doesn't exist. We create the future out of that past, and we relive the past in that future. This is why some of us will say, I feel like I've been running in circles my whole life. So we stay in the now. In the now, we create the future. That's exactly what happens, because as you focus on the moment, you're not hearing the chatter and the ego influence anymore. You're just focused on the moment. And it's much simpler. And it's swifter. And your acceleration of forward movement into experience, into unknown, is much quicker. It's not stalled or interrupted. The universe flows with you instead of you fighting it, keeping it from flowing with you. Now also we want to breathe. want breath in through our noses, an easy breath in, not something that we fight. Because a lot of times we fight it. We fight the breath. I know it sounds strange, but we do. We fight it at times. So we breath in through the nose, and it's divine positive energy. Why is it divine positive energy? Because it sustains the temple of the God, of the pure consciousness within. So it is divine. So as we do this, as we experience this, and we breath out through the mouth, and all along we keep an eye. We keep an eye on the ego. Because the ego is always watching you, is always trying to manipulate you. And we are in total relaxation. We are in the moment, the now. We are in breath. And as we are in breath, we're seated in a very comfortable position. And the position reveals through the center of our spine, starting right at the base of the spine, right at the coccyx, all the way up through the center of the body, we have energy vortexes. These are what connect us from the physical to the spiritual, to the etherical to the physical. This is what is a conduit of these energy vortexes, where we literally move our chi, our godlike energy, through these energy vortexes, chakras. And what happens is that we become conflicted and things become blurred. Our organs don't respond. We have difficulty in different parts of the body because these energy vortexes are directly connected to the function of our body, head to toe, inside and out. And when we begin to understand what this means, then we become more focused on it. So we start at the root chakra. Now the root chakra is a brilliant red wheel of light. Looks like a flower petal. They're all geometric shapes. And we take the divine positive energy in our breath, we start, we bring it up to the root chakra. Red wheel of light. This is the Kundalini energy chakra. Instinct, survival, and security. Then we go into the orange wheel of light, the second chakra. Keep an eye on the ego mind as well when we do this exercise. And this is the abdomen chakra, emotion, sexual energy, and creativity. Then we go to the yellow chakra, the third. This is the solar plexus chakra, mental functioning, power, control, freedom to be oneself. And if you want to know actually, what is a chakra? It's basically a Sanskrit word, and it's the meaning of it is wheel or vortex. Okay? These are my energy vortexes. You don't have to say chakras. You say these are my energy vortexes. It refers to each of our 7 energy centers, of which are conscious. Understand that each one of these centers are conscious. They're consciousness. Our energy system is composed of are energy centers, functioning as pumps or valves, regulating the flow of our energy through our energy system. And the functioning of the chakras reflects decisions we make concerning how we choose to respond to conditions in our lives. And as with all things in our reality, these energy vortexes are linked to sound, light, and color. And the base chakra, the root chakra, is where the Kundalini energy, sleeping serpent, is located. It lies dormant in most people unless it is activated. It is a very powerful energy that shoots up through the entire body, activating all the chakras as it goes. So we move into the fourth chakra. It's a green wheel of light. It's the heart chakra. It's the love, the balance, and compassion. We go to the fifth chakra, the blue wheel of light, the throat chakra, speech, self-expression. Then we go to the sixth chakra. This is the indigo wheel of light. The third eye chakra, clairvoyance, psychic abilities, imagination. Then we go to the purple or violet wheel of light, the crown chakra, spiritual connection, understanding. This divine positive energy through these energy vortexes, center of our body, we bring it up to the top of the head, a little bit to the back, and for a moment we hold it. We only hold it briefly. We hold it briefly. I am light, I am love, I am. And in that brief moment of holding, we compress and condense it into pure liquid energy. And then we release it over the pineal gland. Now you can view your pineal gland however you choose. As a pine cone, as a prune, as a raisin. Look at it as a rose bud, a green ball. And when I release this pure liquid energy over it, it immediately blooms into a vibrant, beautifully fragrant rose that is eternal and shimmering and a multitude of colors in each petal. And it is important, this pineal gland of ours. It is the gateway for us, while we're in this body, to all the particles of existence. It's also the gateway to pure consciousness and beyond. So we really desire to have this functioning at full capacity and wonderful health, vibrance, great frequency and balance, so that we are able to navigate while we're in these bodies through these different gateways of communication. We also know, and we are consciously aware, that each of us are of the highest and from the highest and deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest and deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude. We also know that we are merged with the One, with our higher self, with our spirit, with our soul, with the God within us, the pure consciousness. We are one. Now, we have others with us that are immediately by our sides, the archangels, the cherubim, the seraphim, the archetypes. They've been around a long time. They're a civilization that vibrates at a different frequency than we do. This is why we don't see them like we see each other. They are of and from the highest and deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest and deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude. They will appear in humanoid form just to be with us, just to communicate with us. And it could be anytime, anywhere. You just don't know. You have no expectations or attachments for it. It's just times you're drawn to certain things in certain instances in certain locations. And you will interact with one of them because they are so excited to communicate with you in humanoid form. Don't be surprised that this happens more and more to you as you move more and more fully in 5D. Now, they've been helping us for a long time, and so have we them. Remember, we're all one. We also have the Ascended Masters with us now. They are consciously aware that they are of and from the highest, the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest, the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude. Now, they've ascended out of physical form, and they hold God form, pure consciousness. We have ascended into physical form to experience that physical form. So, what's the difference between us? Their knowledge and education is in a different place than ours. That's the only difference. We will come to the realization and understanding that we will house our pure consciousness out of body. That will occur. We'll be consciously aware of it as we do it, as they are. Now, they've been assisting us for a long time as well. And we have them. Whenever you want to talk with them, just ask. Sit in a quiet place. Surrender everything. And then listen. You'll feel the vibrational frequency. Now, we're all gathered at this Earth, Gaia Arya, this planet in the rim of the Milky Way galaxy. We are here to completely liberate this planet and its civilizations on and above and below. In this now, in this meditation of forming the circle of light. So we're compelled to call out to the other aspects, facets of Creator Source. And so we call out to all the light energy beings and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And they're consciously aware. Only those that are consciously aware that they are of and from the highest, the deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest, the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude. And be with us in this now, in this meditation, the forming of this circle of light. Now, they come in the Gugaplexes. One Gugaplex literally fills this universe. They come in the trillions of Gugaplexes from every direction. And they are with us now. We call upon all of the civilizations in beneath Earth, Agartha, Hollow Earth, and Inner Earth. Many, many, many civilizations. Only those who are consciously aware that they are of and from the highest, the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest, the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude can be with us in this now, in this meditation, in the forming of this circle of light. They come in the billions, and they are with us now. We call upon all the off-worlders, all the galactics, all the celestials, only those who are consciously aware that they are of the highest, from the highest, the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of the highest, from the highest, of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude, and be with us in this now, in this meditation, in this circle, forming of the circle of light. Now, over 1,000 of the species and civilizations come through the solar system every day. We're only familiar with a handful of them, and this includes all the levels and species of these civilizations. Pleiadians, Andromedans, Arcturians, Sirians, Feline, Zeta Reticuli, Grays, Nords, Golden Pyramid, Avion, many, many, many more. They've been assisting us in our evolution, enlightenment, and ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. And they come in the billions, and they are with us now. We call upon all of our loved ones, all those who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we have inhabited. Only those who are consciously aware that they are of and from the highest, the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest, the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude can be with us this now, this meditation, the forming the circle of light. And they come in the billions, and they are with us now. We call upon all the light energy beings who have decided to be housed in the following forms on and above and below this planet Earth, Gaia, and this now, this meditation, and forming this circle of light. Only those who are consciously aware that they are of and from the highest, the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest, the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude, and be with us in this now, in this meditation, in the forming of the circle of light. Now, we're only familiar with a handful of them. There are literally trillions and trillions and trillions of them, and they come in all kinds of shapes, colors, sizes, forms, and configurations, of which many we've never seen before. And just to name a few, the fairies, the sprites, the elves, the dwarves, the gnomes, the trees, trolls, the elementals, earth, air, water, fire, the dolphin, the whale, the pegasus, the unicorn, the centaur, and the minotaur. Many, many, many more. And they come in the trillions, and they are with us now. We're all assembled from all universes and all existence within existence here on the rim of this Milky Way galaxy to assist in the total liberation of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, in this now, in this meditation, and the forming of the circle of light. All lower dark vibrational frequencies, all lower survival matter frequencies are being left in the void. They're being vaporized if they try to attach to us because our vibrational frequencies have already shifted. They cannot sustain themselves. They are very confused, scattered. They're in helter-skelter mode. All of us gathered, all of our gods together, arm in arm, hand in hand. We are in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, and abundance. And we are all one. And we are all God. And we are all love. And our God-light energy is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And it continues to intensify, and it continues to expand. We have formed a magnificent, spectacular circle of radiant, brilliant white light. This emanates from the center of our core, the God-light energy, the pure consciousness. It bathes this planet inside and out, above and below, with the deepest, deepest, deepest of eternal love and gratitude. Nothing can run from it. And this circle of light is shifting the frequencies every split second into higher and higher realm. It would take over 1 billion of the suns in this solar system to equal the brightness of this circle of light, bringing out the darkness of space. So we ascend. We begin to levitate above the planet as this circle of light, as we saturate, bathe, flood everything and everything with this pure, deep, eternal love and gratitude, shifting all vibrational frequencies of the lower realms, either dispersing them or literally reconfiguring them into higher vibrational frequency of deep, eternal love and gratitude. Those that wish not to engage are left. Now, as we continue to levitate, we're immediately met with a massive gossamer field everywhere we look, filled with trillions of reflective pieces, of trillions of vibrant colored lights. Reflection of all of us in all the aspects and all the facets that all of us are, reflecting back to us, increasing our awareness and our knowledge of who and what all of us are. Now, as we continue to ascend through the gossamer field, we are met immediately with an emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael. This is a column to remind all of us that we are the power of healing. We're immediately met with the violet, blue, purple flaming light of Archangel Michael. This is the column that reminds us of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. Then we're immediately met after that with the white fire. This column reminds us that each and every single one of us is imbued with a godlike energy armor of deep, eternal love and gratitude, head to toe, inside and out. This armor, when at full vibrational frequency, cannot be penetrated, cannot be affected, cannot be hexed, cannot be jujued, cannot be done any harm to. But from any external authority. But only you have the power that if you decide to dip low enough, allow yourself to sink into lower vibrational frequencies of lower dark matter frequency and lower survival matter frequency, you will create a breach in your white fire armor. This breach will be enough to allow these frequencies to come flooding in. If you do decide to do that, you're immediately met with the purple transmuting flame. This column reminds you that you can bring it in at any time and transmute all of those lower vibrational frequencies into neutralized substance, send them back to your consciousness where they're no more. Then you're met with the violet ray. This column reminds you bring in the violet ray right behind the purple transmuting flame, and you literally purify, cleanse the whole area where these lower frequencies were, thus restoring your complete vibrational frequency to the highest high of deep eternal love and gratitude. Then we're met with the golden white pink light. This column reminds us of who we are, what we are. Deep, pure, eternal love. Gratitude, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, abundance, stillness of mind, non-judging. And we see it everywhere if only we look. It's in our sunsets. It's in our sunrises. It's in our skies when they're purple and pink, orange, gold, white. It's in our clouds. It's in our waters. It's in our rainbows. Everything here reminds us of the pure consciousness and gods that we are. This is why we're taken aback at such beauty, such awe, such vistas. We continue to levitate above this planet, Earth, Gaia, Arya, in this now, and this meditation, and this circle of light. As we do, some of us decide we're carrying physical form, the physical form that's carrying us. We decide to step outside of the physical form and float above our bodies, effortlessly. As we do this, we finally come across a giant crystalline light tower that we've created. It's larger than the solar system. It is a crystalline shaft, and we can see into it. And the shaft houses an auric field of trillions, multitudes of vibrant colors, all pulsating and humming and vibrating. This disbursement of this frequency floods and saturates all things, everything and everything, all of our brothers and sisters on and above and below this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, in this now, in this meditation, in this circle of light. It is unending and eternal. So as it does this, of course, it's lifting all the vibrational frequencies of everything and everything into the higher realm of existence, as we are in 5D. Now, we look at the top of this crystal light tower. We designed it so that the golden ocean can come cascading down 360 degrees nonstop, unending, eternally. What is it doing? It's flooding all of our brothers and sisters inside and out, head to toe. All, everything and everything. Literally transcending their frequencies into higher and higher vibrational frequencies of deep, eternal love and gratitude. Now, we continue to levitate up, and then we gaze upon our meditative sphere. We created this sphere well over 2 years ago. It's at center circle. This sphere houses all of our meditations in perpetual motion. Over 900 meditations in perpetual motion, growing every single day. And what does this mean? It's flooding and saturating all of us, bathing all of us inside and out, head to toe, in the deepest, 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 and the highest, highest, highest of eternal love and gratitude. It's shifting the vibrational frequencies from the old, lower vibrational frequency world into a much higher, lighter vibrational frequency world. This is in full swing. It cannot be reversed. It cannot be put asunder. And so this is why it can be seen, heard, and felt, and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And this is why it continues to intensify and it continues to expand. We are all transitioning. All of us are transitioning into higher and higher frequencies. You can feel it. You feel it in your heart, mind. You feel the warm waves embrace your body from the inside out. I join you in meditation. I'll return to close us out. breath in, and then use the breath out through the mouth. Move slowly. Embrace your transition. You continually move into a higher pattern of higher and higher vibrational frequencies in the fifth density. A new realm for all of us. This is a realm of paradise, of joy, of bliss, where we begin to experience all that is within us becomes outside of us. This is the celebratory transition that we have prepared ourselves for a very long time. And it is now here. And we are there. So understand that some of the transitions with your physical form will be a little different. But know that's what is transpiring. Take this with you the rest of the day, into the evening, the night, into the following morning. You feel the warm waves of loving vibrational frequencies constantly moving you up very softly and gently. We will be back here August 9th, Sunday 2020, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation